Introducing the Automobile, the newest, most exciting contraption to come of the new millennia. So grab your Remington and say goodbye to the old nag, because this motorized quadricycle will forever change the way you travel. Traverse terrains your horse wouldn't dare. Nothing can stop you now. You're an absolute ninny. Who are you calling a ninny? You're the one that flipped the caravan. I'm not the one who flipped it. You're the one who's driving. Well, we'll leave them to it. Do more, work less. It's the American dream. I'm not the one who's been drinking and driving, now am I?
Automotive technology has certainly come a long way since its conception over a century ago. What's perhaps most impressive, however, is not the improvements in horsepower, speed, or luxury features, but rather it's the modern car's ability to travel vast distances reliably year after year. Nowadays, most owners take for granted a car that lasts 100,000 miles or more, but not too long ago, that sort of achievement was considered a rarity. So how did we get here? Cars are more complex now than they've ever been, and yet they're able to surpass milestones that your grandparents' Cadillac could have only dreamed of.
What? What did you say?
Nothing, Grandpa. Anyway, here's a brief history in the advancements of automotive reliability. Note: I do understand that reliability and durability are two different measures of quality. Durability referring to how long a product lasts, versus reliability being a product's ability to work without failure. But since there can tend to be overlap with these definitions, I will be using the term reliability to cover both topics just for simplicity's sake. Moving on. On December 1st, 1913, Henry Ford introduced the world's first automobile assembly line for the Model T. You may have heard of it. Although its main goal was to increase efficiency and reduce costs, among other things, it also drastically improved the quality of the end product. With 84 steps along the line, each worker had specialized tasks, meaning less room for error. In addition, Ford was supplied with mass-produced components from suppliers, further improving consistency when compared to handmade parts. But this was just the beginning. Assembly lines today take Henry Ford's vision far beyond early 20th century imagination. Automation rules in the 21st century, reducing costs even more, and working with the precision that only a soulless machine can output. But it still isn't without a dash of human touch.
Highways.
In America, the interstate system consists of nearly 47,000 miles of road. The National Highway System, however, is 164,000 miles long. But all of that pales in comparison to the 4 million miles of public roads that intertwine the United States. These long stretches of high-speed interstate have a unique and somewhat indirect impact on automotive reliability. But to understand the full story, we must look to the interstate's origins, which take inspiration from the Nazis. You see, throughout the 1930s, Hitler oversaw the construction of the
Reichsautobahnen
and constructed 2,400 miles of it before a certain war interrupted construction. Once America entered the war, Eisenhower, who was a U.S. Army commander at the time, took notice and wrote the idea in his diary for future reference. Dear Diary, I don't want to admit this, but Hitler actually had one good idea. Oh, and I saw a cute dog today, but Mamie says I'm not allowed to take it home. Years later, when Eisenhower became president, he dug out his diary and authorized the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, a project designed to develop the modern interstate system. But how does all of this relate to automotive reliability? It all comes down to customer demand. With long stretches of road being constructed at home and abroad, the need for reliable transport was higher than ever. America was prospering in the 1950s, and taking long road trips on the newly paved highways was becoming increasingly popular. And in Europe, cars like the Volkswagen Beetle were designed to appeal to the masses. The need for cheap, reliable transportation was becoming a worldwide affair, and naturally, automakers did whatever they could to improve the longevity of their vehicles. And what a better way to do that than to create a little thing called standards.
Society of Automotive Engineers.
Even though SAE has been around since the dawn of the automobile, it didn't really see worldwide appeal until the 1950s. Beginning in the United States, its purpose is to develop standards within automotive engineering, amongst other fields. Its post-war success garnered members from around the globe, further expanding and fine-tuning engineering design standards even today. Design standards like those found within SAE are crucial to creating robust, and consistent, reliable automotive components. So boring. Huh? Oh. This wouldn't be a sufficient video essay about automotive reliability without mentioning the sensei of reliable car design, Japan. As Japan prepared itself to become a leading economic power throughout the 60s and 70s, they sought to take the automotive world by storm. By the mid-70s, the country had finally found success establishing themselves within the worldwide auto industry. Not only were they internationally providing fuel-efficient cars desperately needed during the oil crisis, but their reliability surpassed anything Europe or America had to offer. Needless to say, it was a serious karate chop to their auto sales. And so the competition began. Technological advancements skyrocketed during the back half of the 20th century. A more notable innovation, electronic fuel injection, was made popular in the early 80s, rendering the old ways of carburation nearly obsolete due to its improved efficiency and reliability. Additionally, using new space-age materials and enhanced rust-proofing measures ensured that the body panels and chassis lasted just as long as the drivetrain. Well, in theory, anyway. I mean, we've all seen how well some of their efforts have held up over the years. And finally, throughout the 80s and 90s, computer-aided design and simulation greatly improved confidence in the engineered components. No more hand calculations or abacuses or whatever else old-timey engineers used. So in the end, all of these innovations were, in a way, developed in the name of defeating the Japanese. Again, only this time, no atomic bombs will be necessary.
Present day.
So, after all of this innovation and technology and research, are cars really more reliable now than they were? I mean, car reliability seems to have plateaued since the 90s. Dumb video. I still like and subscribe though.
Thank you? And to answer your question, yes, cars are more reliable now than they've ever been before. It's true that over the last few decades we've seen cars that can easily achieve 200,000 miles and beyond, and even a handful that have broken the million-mile barrier. But believe it or not, there's still room for improvement. I've compiled the results of J.D. Power's Vehicle Dependability Study since its origin in 2000, and selected one manufacturer from each country, comparing them to the industry average. The study ranks auto manufacturers by number of problems per 100 vehicles sold in that year. And since the year 2000, it's apparent that newer cars have substantially less problems than they did 20 years ago, which is impressive considering the fact that there are millions more cars being manufactured today than in 2000. Even still, no car is perfect, and maintenance is key. Keep up with it and fix things when they go wrong, even if you drive a Jag. I mean, look at this. In 2009, Jaguar had less problems than Lexus. If that isn't inspirational, I don't know what is. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if I missed anything, and I know I did, leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next mile.